Hello and welcome to another class, this time focused on our lower body strength and mobility, and particularly our feet and our ankles today. So these are areas that we don't often spend a lot of time thinking about our feet. Well, I don't. It's very easy just to hide them away in socks and boots and forget about all the work that they do for us. But they are really the foundation for a lot of our mobility, how we feel in our body, our posture. And if we've got good strength and mobility in our feet and our ankles, it can have benefits all the way up the chain. So your knees could feel better, your hips, your lower back, even up towards your shoulders. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Dolly Dog is asleep in the background. Who knows when she might wake up, so we're just going to crack on and see how far we get. So I am sitting on the floor. I'm going to start with my feet out towards you and my legs long and trying to stack my spine. If this is not happening for you, if you're finding you're rolling back on your spine, you might want to bend your knees and get a blanket or a cushion, or if you happen to have a foam roller under your knees, or you could even have your back against the wall, or probably could do this sitting in a chair. So just taking time, bringing your hands to the floor, even though we're thinking about our lower body, we're going to spend a bit of time just settling it into the practice. So just softening your gaze, closing your eyes, noticing how you're feeling. If there's anything on your body that needs a bit of movement, maybe your jaw is working much harder than it needs to. Maybe your shoulders need a little wiggle. Maybe you allow yourself a smile just for having made it to this class. And when you're settled, just bringing your attention to your breath, thinking about inhaling, allowing your body to gently expand, and exhaling to soften, to feel heavy, and notice which parts of your body feel heavier against the earth, which feel lighter. Just with interest as the observer, not with judgment. And then as we continue this, we can start gently wiggling our toes. So just bending and extending your toes, nothing extreme, just starting to get them moving. Giving them fair warning that they will be expected to work through this session. A bit more conscious movement than maybe they're used to. So if you haven't really been consciously moving your feet much, when we start doing this, the muscles can feel a bit weakened, so they can get a bit crampy. So if you do start to feel crampy, just taking time to go floppy, to shake your feet out, and then come back into this. Okay, so looking at our feet, we're going to point our ankles so we can curl our toes under. Again, start this really gently, and as we flex our ankles, bringing our toes up towards us, see if we can spread them really wide. So bending, curling under, and then coming up, spreading really wide. I'll do mine nice and slow because my brain needs a little bit of time to really understand. I want my toes to go really wide. And then shake it out. We're going to lift up our right leg. See if we can draw it out just a little. And then left leg, draw it out just a little. And then from here, seeing if you can draw your right leg in. Try not to use your hand to draw your leg in. Using the strength in your hip to place it close-ish, but a little bit wider than hip width. And the same on the other side. And here we're going to take hold of our knees, flex our ankles again. And think about turning our ankles in so our toes come towards each other, and then out. So this is getting this whole lower leg to move. So it's like that whole lower leg is in a cast, turning out and then in, and then hopefully you can feel that working all the way up into your knees. And then toes come forward. And from here, you might want to creep your feet out just a little bit. We're going to try and take some cat-cow kind of movements. So see if you can roll up onto the sit bones of your pelvis. So the pointy bits are pointing down into the earth. And lift the chest and then roll back on your pelvis, round through the spine. Rolling up and back, up and back. And see if you can keep a bit of a press through your heels as you do this. And coming up, keeping a press through your heels, maybe about 40% of your effort, so not really gripping into the ground, but conscious effort to press your heels, either holding your hands together, or if you want your hands down on the ground, feel free. We're going to roll our knees in and roll our knees out. So this isn't a really floppy movement because we've got that press through our heels into the ground. We've got activation all the way up our legs. Don't really know what to do with my hands. Maybe this. Okay. My legs already feel like they're working. Let's come over onto hands and knees. Actually, we're not even going to be in hands and knees that long. Again, if you want something under your knees, you could have something like a blanket or a foam roller. And we're just going to step straight forward into our low lunge. So just here, thinking about when your knee comes forward, we want it to come further than your toes this time. So we're thinking about using our range of ankle mobility. So keeping the foot attached to the ground, just checking that your knee can come forward. So it's kind of in line with the front of your toes. If it can't go that far, just see how far it can comfortably go without feeling like you've got a really big stretch on the back of your heel here. Okay. And then we're going to look down at our toes. Learn to love them if you don't love to look at them. They work really, really hard for you. And we're going to see if we can lift up just our big toe. And then we're going to see if we can press down that big toe and lift up the little toes. And then keep going. And if this really doesn't want to happen, as you're thinking, I'm going to lift up my big toe, just give it a little hand with your fingers. And then press the big toe down. Give the other toes a little hand to lift up. Sometimes, again, it just takes a little bit of help and support to initiate this movement and help create those connections between body and brain. And then really rooting that big toe down. So put your finger underneath it and feel the power of your big toe as it presses into the earth. And then try and pull that finger out. We're going to come up into a lunge. And keeping that finger, really pressing your big toe down into the ground. We're going to come into a lunge. And then press out again. Big toe stays gripping. Coming in, knee is in line with that toe, and then pressing out, pressing in and out. And if you didn't like to be on your knees at all here, you can do this just holding onto a chair, holding onto the side in the kitchen, onto a wall. You don't have to be kneeling in that back leg. One more time. Coming up. Just going to heel toe that foot out so you're 45 degrees-ish. So your body's going forward, knees coming out to the side in line with your toes. Same thing, rooting that big toe, lunging in and out. Knee tracks in line with the toes. Keep that grip through your foot. Oh, it's hard work, right? When you've got that real activation through your foot, you're really making this a really, really active movement. You can feel it all the way up the leg. You don't always need big fancy movements. Okay, coming back to kneeling. If you wanted to, you could have a little wiggle through your spine. And then we're going to bring the other foot forward. Again, just check that your knee can come slightly forward of your toes. Notice where it's too much behind the back of your heel. Check in with your toes, see if you can lift up your big toe, press the others down, and then lift up the others, press the big toe down, and use your fingers to help and support that movement if it's just not coming right now. And if it's really, really easy for you, you can go faster. Just mix it up. And then pressing that big toe down. Seeing the strength of it underneath your fingers, then prizing your fingers out, coming up into your lunge. Taking those little lunges in and out. Keep that activation through your foot, really root your big toe. Move with your breath, find a gazing point. Move round to that 45-degree leg if it feels good for you. Lunging in and out. Controlled, strong movement. Leg and foot is really active in both directions. One more. And then creeping that foot back in. Coming back onto all fours just for a moment. Have a little wiggle through your spine. And I'm going to find our way into down dog. So I'm just going to turn towards you a little bit. Knees come up. And just walk out your dog here. So really rooting the hands. And as you're walking out your dog, coming up onto the toes of one foot and then onto the other. As you're coming up onto the toes of one foot, let that other foot completely take the weight. And I invite you, if you want, to roll onto the top of the toes of the foot that's lifted. So you're getting an extra foot stretch and roll back onto the pads of the toes. And then do the same thing on the other side. So your tops of your feet can get really tight too. Quite often our feet are in shoes that have some degree of heel on them. And that makes our toes be in that slightly lifted position for a lot of their life. So tops of feet can get quite tight. And just noticing if you tend to have a tendency to roll out onto the edges of your feet. And see if you can keep that feeling of rolling through your big toe. I'm going to creep forward into our forward fold. Bend your knees, let your spine drape over your thighs, let your head be heavy. Oh, let's just have a little sway from side to side for a moment. And we're going to slowly work our way all the way up into standing. Have a little roll through our shoulders. Okay, so just settling. Have a look down at your feet and just notice, bring your weight forward onto your toes, back onto your heels. Maybe roll onto the outside edges of your feet, onto the inside edges of your feet. And noticing where further up the chain, up the leg, you might feel the effects of those different movements. And just bringing your weight so that it's spread as equally as you can get it all the way through your feet. And we're going to start. Oh, just having a little bounce. Just waking up our knees. Having a little arm swing. Waking up our ankles. Knees tracking forward, again in line with our toes. Arms are heavy, and then we're just going to come down into a chair squat. So see if you can send your bottom backwards, so your toes, your knees are less over your toes, so you can see your toes. And bring your hands together, so in a prayer position, and let your spine be long, so you're looking down towards your feet. And here, we're going to see if we can go up onto tiptoes of one foot, pressing through the big toe. So your foot is rolling directly up and down and then onto the other side. So you're trying not to roll onto the outside or the inside. That movement stays directly up and down as you work side to side. Keep breathing. One more, and then we're going to step back into a lunge position. Our right foot comes back, and try and keep that right leg long. And then we're going to bring our arms up and see if you can let the arch spread all the way through your back. Lift your chest like you've got a bit of string pulling you from your heart center, and then leaning forward, nice straight spine, so you've got a long line from your heel to your fingertips. Keep that front foot rooted. Ooh, and then coming back up, straightening up both legs. It's hot in here, isn't it? Bringing your hands to your hips, toes forward. Nice soft knees again. We're going to hinge forward from the hip, trying to think about that lower back, staying nice and flat. I'm going to lift one side of the pelvis and then the other side of the pelvis to have a little tick-tock movement side to side. And then hinging all the way back up, press of your hips forward. And then we're going to come into a lunge with the left leg back, right leg forward. So all toes point forward, back leg is straight-ish. If you're finding it hard to balance, bring your feet a bit wider. So you're not putting yourself on a tightrope, more of a train track. Reach your hands forward, root both of your feet, particularly your front foot, and then lifting up, you're on the toes of your back foot, reaching forward, and then reaching back up again, lifting up through the chest, straightening that front leg, turning again to what would be the long edge of your mat. It's not there. This time we're going to turn our toes out, come down into our goddess leg, so knees track in a similar direction to your toes. If your knees are rolling in, don't come down as far, come up. And we're going to think here, you can have your hands still rested on your thighs, but about taking some cat-cows in this position. So this time we're going to round through our spine, tucking your tailbone slightly, and then sticking your bottom out. Let that arch, that extension spread all the way through your spine to the top of your neck. So you've got one just nice long arch as you flex into a cat position, and then extend into a cow position. And if you wanted to bring arms in here, you could, but equally, you might not want to. Oh, and then we're going to press all the way out. Bring our arms down. Have a roll through the shoulders. Keep your feet a bit wide. We're going to bring some figures of 8 through our hips. A little loop in one direction, a little loop in the other. Going the other way. And then really trying to keep your feet rooted to the ground, so you've got that equal weight spread all the way through it. See if you can take some circles, not allowing that weight to shift through your feet. A few in one direction, a few in the other. And then coming back to center, a little tick-tock through our hips. Shake it out, a little bounce. And we're going to do a little leg swing. Here, so I have got my half foam roller. You can do this either pressing through one foot and swinging on the floor, or if you want to create a bit of instability so that your ankle and your foot are working a little bit harder to hold you, you can have one of these, or you could have a blanket or a cushion, but you just might want to have a wall or something nearby that you can touch base with if you wanted to. If you don't want that extra instability, you could always bring your foot up on a flat block or something that's a little higher. Or like I said, you could do this on the floor as long as you've got your toes picked up and you're pressing through that standing leg to push the ground away. So I'm going to stand up on my foam roller. I do have the ceiling to hold on to should I want to, so be careful not to kick the dog. I'm going to check that it feels like my head is balanced over my foot, over my knee, coming all the way up so that my other foot can come off the ground. And I'm going to try and let that other hip be as heavy as possible as I start to just swing my leg. And I'm going to try and swing my arms at the same time. So my ankle is working really, really hard here. My foot's working really hard to try and hold me up. And just knowing that all those wobbles, your body working really hard, are all the things that make you stronger. So if this was too easy, if I could happily stay here all day long and I wouldn't wobble at all, it wouldn't be doing me any real good. Maybe it would be fun, but I think it's more fun to wobble. And then coming down, taking a little tick-tock through your hips. And again, take it on the other side. I'll do it without the foam roller this time. So I'm going to stand on one leg, press the ground away. So you're really trying to get your head as far away from the ground as possible. Try and let the other leg be heavy. And take a swing backwards and forwards. Ooh, much more wobbly on this side. Okay. And a little tick-tock. And then we're going to come back into our lunge position. So this time our left leg is forward, right leg is back on the toes of the right foot. And we're just going to practice kicking off the toes of our right foot again, feeling like you're pressing through with your big toe. So you're really rounding through that toe, pressing off, rooting down. All the movement is forward and back. If you wanted to, you could bring in your arms, nice and controlled. Woohoo! A little bit wobbly. And then come up to standing. Swap those legs. Root in your feet, find a gazing point. And start to press the ground away with that left toe this time. It could be really little movements, just gently coming off the ground. You could be holding onto your wall or the chair as you're doing this. But if you are, just make sure you're challenging yourself. So notice how much weight you actually need to be putting through your prop to stop yourself from wobbling. And then see if you can use a little less. Bring in the arms if you wanted to. And then step all the way back up. Shake it out. And we're going to find our way down onto the floor. Nearly there. Bringing your left knee in towards you. Give that knee a bit of a hug. And then bring your right leg up towards the ceiling. Have a wiggle of your toes. And take some big, big circles through your ankle. As big as you can make them. A few in one direction, a few in the other. And then flex and extend through your ankle. See if you can spread your toes wide as they come towards you. And then keeping that foot flexed. Flex and extend through your knee. And then we're going to swap legs. Bring your right knee in, left foot up towards the ceiling. Circling your foot. As big a circles as you can possibly make. Just noticing with interest Should your ankle make any interesting noises as you do this? Hopefully, if it feels okay, it probably is okay. And then bending and straightening through the ankle. See if you can make your toes wider as they come towards you. Oof. Keeping that ankle flexed. Bend and extend the leg. There's no pressure here to get your legs straight. Just see where your comfortable range is. And I'm going to bring both legs up, keeping the knees a little bit bent. Just going to turn both knees out to either side and then turn both knees in towards each other. So knock knees and then out towards the side. So you're moving your hip in your hip joint, internal rotation, external rotation. Lovely. Bringing your knees in towards your chest, pushing your knees away, round to the side, towards you, and the other side. Drawing some big circles, massaging out through your lower back. A few in one direction, a few in the other. And then bringing your feet down towards the ground. A hip-ish, maybe a little bit further width apart. Bringing your arms nice and wide. And letting your knees draw over to one side, wherever they comfortably get to. Maybe looking over the opposite arm. And then head rolls back, knees roll to the other side. Rolling your head in the opposite direction as your knees as you work side to side with your breath. Maybe softening your gaze, closing your eyes here. And then coming back to center. Letting your legs come long, giving yourself as much space as you feel comfortable. And if you feel more comfortable in another position, then finding your way into whatever position feels right for you. Keeping your eyes soft or closed. Just noticing if there's anything in your body that still needs a bit of a movement, a bit of a wiggle, maybe your shoulders, your forehead, your jaw. Maybe your thighs are still working, or your feet need a little wobble. And then just bringing your attention back to your breath. Notice which areas in your body feel most heavily connected to the floor and how this might change as you inhale and exhale. And staying here for as long as feels good for you.